Hi and welcome to the sixth episode of my bodybuilding vlog. And I know it's been a long break, actually the longest break since I ever started this vlog, but there has so much that's been happening in the past 4 weeks that it's literally been impossible to record anything. I was kind of overwhelmed by all the prep, moving from my apartment, getting scammed along the way, had to choose another apartment, looking for a new job. So all of that on top of the competition prep kind of been a lot. And to keep the videos short and engaged, I'm gonna split them up in different subjects. And these are going to be fat burners and how I almost quit 10 days before my start, nutrition, sacrifices that I had to take while being a vegan, peak week, and all the disagreements that I had with my coach. And today's episode is going to focus all about on the show day, how it all happened, my first week post-show, and what is next on the horizon. So let's dive in. So how did it all go? Obviously, if you follow me on other channels, you already know the results, and I'm sure you can tell them by the trophies that are standing next to me. I won. And I won actually in 2 categories. I applied for 2 and I won my first places and gold medals in 2. Weirdly, they ran out of medals. So I ended up getting just 1 medal and 2 trophies. But either way, I got 2 first places, which is a fact, even though the medal is 1. So how do I feel about it? It's crazy. I literally feel reborn. Like I put so much time, dedication, and effort into getting that far, and right now it just feels like I was a larva that got hatched into the butterfly. I literally feel like I got to some different level, which technically is true because next I'm going to compete on the national competition. So, but it's weird feeling inside that, like if I went through some form of an upgrade and came out on the other side as a different person, which is kind of crazy, but it's really interesting feeling. And I definitely can tell that I got addicted already. I got addicted to the whole feeling of being on stage. I suffered a lot in the past days before my show, and I'm gonna talk more about that in a peak week episode. But now, after doing it, after experiencing the stage, I understand that all that pain was actually worth it. It sounds kind of masochistic a little bit, but the end result for me personally was worth it. Well, let's talk more about how it all actually happened. 24 hours out, I'm gonna start my journey about the whole situation 1 day before the show. So I'm gonna share more about the peak week in a separate episode, as I said, but I'm gonna briefly say that it's been established that I'm going to eat light carbs and protein in the last 24 hours before my show, and I'm gonna stop eating all the vegetables at 3 p.m. of the 22nd of September, and the show was on 23rd, and that includes all vegetables, raw, boiled, steamed, doesn't matter, right? Like vegetables and at 3 p.m. And then I had to choose like a simple carb that I would eat for the dinner and a protein. So for my carb, I chose my favorite buckwheat that I still have. As you remember, I ordered 10 kilograms a few weeks back. For the protein, I decided that I will be eating prawns. Yes, prawns. And yes, I do still consider myself a vegan. And I'm gonna talk more about it in the nutrition episode, so just don't judge me ahead of time. I have a valid explanation to why. Anyway, I cooked myself enough buckwheat to sustain me for the dinner and the day after, because for the competition day, the plan would be that I would be just eating like small spoons of buckwheat throughout the day, and a little bit of protein, just so I'm fed, but I'm not like overeaten, so my stomach doesn't swollen. I decided to try 1 spoon of buckwheat and just to see how it tastes, if I put enough salt. And that was like a really big mistake because I literally ate it all. I ate everything that I cooked for the dinner and for the day after. And we're talking about like 200 grams of buckwheat in the dry form. And that was after I finished my vegetable allowance. Worry, stress, anxiety, anticipation. Like, obviously, it's my first ever show. There has been a lot of things going on in my head. And I was also kind of worried and uncertain if my shape came out good because there were other mistakes that I did during my peak week. So I was kind of hoping for a miracle that I'm gonna wake up on the 23rd in my best possible shape. And obviously, after consuming so many carbs, the chances of me waking up in a perfect shape was even smaller. I know there are techniques like carb overload that a lot of athletes do before the shows, but what we were doing wasn't quite that. So I didn't want to like rely that my body will act in the same way as it would if it was in carb overload technique, because the other parts of that technique were not followed. The point was that on that day my macros were supposed to be 80 grams of protein, 50 grams of fat, and 120 grams of carbs. And by 3 p.m., I already exceeded my carb allowance by 100 grams. So I was silently screaming for the entire day. And the only thing that I could do was just not eat at all for the rest of the day. So yeah, I just had to hope for the best and just believe that all the mistakes that I did would be reversed by the morning, because when I was 5 days out, I was in my best possible shape. I had my best weight, I had my best waist, and I just couldn't, find any fault in my shape. So I felt kind of overconfident and I started doing some fuck ups. So after those fuck ups, I gained 1.3 kg, I believe, and I gained 1 centimeter in my waist. So I was on a mission to reverse the process. 20 hours out, and I had my last food for the day, which was 60 grams of prawns, just to hit my protein intake for the day. And then I went and did like 30 minutes of like super light and simple cardio. After my cardio, I just went right into bed just to sleep, so I can have a good night's sleep before the big day. I actually been recording like short videos throughout the day, and I started really good, making sure that I have these little snapshots of what's happening. But then later on, it was just getting like really crazy and hectic, and then my phone died. So I'm gonna put together now a compilation of all these videos that I managed to capture, and then the rest I would have to narrate. Let's dive into what's been happening on the day, 9.5 hours out. Hello, good morning. So today is the day, and yeah, it's 6:30 a.m. I just got up. I don't really know what my shape is like yet. Hopefully, I'm in my best form ever. I'm gonna find out in a moment. One thing I know for sure, my face infection hasn't gone anywhere. It's still pretty bad, but it is what it is at this point. So let's see what the day has in store for me. After that, I started my day with the vacuum that I always do. So at that point, I still haven't seen or measured myself. So it was still a surprise to me to find out what I'm gonna see when I enter the bathroom. And guess what? Yes, I hatched. I felt like I hatched out of the egg. I came out in my best possible shape. I'm sure even better shape is possible, but at that point in history, in my lifetime, it was my best shape ever. So my weight was 56.8, and I do have to say that on 5 days out, my weight was even better, but in this game, it's not about the weight. The best part was that my waist was actually 61.5 centimeter that I've never ever had in my entire life. The under chest measurement was 71.7, glutes 91.7, and thigh 51.7 as well. So I've been shrinking quite proportionally, which is great. I was all lower the place from happiness. And despite I'm not super happy with the way how my legs came out, I'm happy with the overall result because it's the best what I could have achieved with all the effort that I've put into this. I haven't skipped any training day. I've been like super strict on my routine, on my nutrition. But anyway, I was pretty happy. My mood was superb. I was ready to rock the stage. So the next thing we did was the application of my tan. So usually what happens is that competitions organizers, they provide like a booth in which they offer professional tanning services. Unfortunately, the competition that I've been doing, they didn't have that, so we had to apply the tan ourselves at home. And the plan was to apply 2 layers at home and then take product to the venue and apply more if needed before the actual show. All right, so the first round is done. I'm working on a rubbish bag just so I don't damage the floor because my feet are kind of gross. Yeah, I mean, overall, I think it's nice. Looking good, the first layer. It's just like I scratched myself a little bit when I was scrubbing myself. So there are some problems. I don't know if you can see it here. Yeah, there. And also my underarm looks kind of gross. Yeah. But I think overall, maybe after second layer, it's gonna come out pretty damn good. I definitely like how my body starts to pop through the color. I also want to show you what I have today prepared for my food. So that's my bag, my takeaway lunch. Well, it's kind of breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I also gonna have a protein bar that I'm gonna eat later on. So here I have lime that I'm going to eat whenever I feel thirsty because I should really limit the amount of water that I consume. So I'll be chewing on the lime. And here I have my main food, which is pretty much buckwheat there and here. I love buckwheat. And here I have my protein, which is the shrimp and the, what is it called? Oh my God, I forgot the name of it. I forgot the name. That's so embarrassing. Anyway, I usually don't eat that. Like I literally just decided to start eating this because of my prep. That's another whole conversation. But for now, basically for today, that's gonna be all of my food. After the first round was done, we waited for half an hour to apply the next. And then yeah, I was ready for the second layer of my tan, and I forgot to mention that we used Yantana Ultra One color. I'm actually pretty happy with the product. It has a really nice like a bronze shade, and also the way how it got all washed out afterwards, because now I'm 1 week post show and all of the tan is gone. There were some spots in my body, they still look a little bit darker, but I just had to make sure that I scrub myself enough for all of them to disappear. And last but not least, before heading off, I did another form check, already wearing my wig, already being fully tanned, just to make sure that, you know, it's all looking good. There are no white spots left on my body, aside of my face at that point. And yeah, we were ready to head off. So I've been traveling in black bikini that I usually wear when I do all of my posing. And on top of that, I just put like a black silk robe. The safest thing to do is to wear something super airy, super bulky, something that won't leave any stretch marks on your skin, but also will allow like air to circulate in and out. Obviously here in Mexico it's like super hot, so my best bet was to wear the robe. I decided to travel already in a wig and wearing a hat. because what actually happened is that like 2 days before the show, I felt like I want to reread the rules just to kind of remind myself of the process, of the flow, and anything else that I need to pay attention to. And somehow I didn't see it before, but one of the points was that you cannot perform in a wig, or you cannot do any other alteration to your body aside of breast implants, which is kind of bizarre. Like, right, you can have fake boobs, but you cannot have fake hair. Anyway, I was freaking out because my entire stage image was kind of tied around me having that particular wig. And there was no way I would come out with my natural hair because I didn't bleach it, I didn't dye it for a reason, I didn't cut it. That was just like out of equation. So I've been just hoping that nobody will find out that I'm wearing a wig. So my plan was to arrive to registration in a hat and do all registration in a hat. Why in a hat? Because the wig that I had this little thing that I didn't know what am I supposed to do with it. Now I know we just had to cut it off. But I didn't know before. Like, I've never used wigs. I never applied them like properly with the glue, with the whole shebang. So I was like, all right, he's gonna put it on, put a hat on top so nobody can see that stitch thing, and I'll be fine. So yeah, I'm finally on my way to the contest place. Already all geared up, all tanned. I'm in a good mood, which is really great because obviously, it's all in the head in the end. I'm happy with my form. Of course, there are things that I would have liked to be different, but it's not the time to focus on them. Right now, I have to focus on what I have, and what I have is great. It's definitely the best version of myself I've ever been. And, despite little things like face infection and, not having enough muscle definition in my legs, I don't think any of it is going to affect today's outcome. Because what's going to happen will be well deserved. And, I'm happy with it. Like, I'm already a winner. I'm already a winner for myself. It's the battle of me against myself in the end of the day. And I feel that I won it. And today is simply a triumph, a confirmation of something that already happened. So yeah, I'm really excited to be there in just a few hours. So first step is the registration. After successful registration, I'm heading to the Airbnb where we're gonna continue with the makeup. Then we're gonna continue with the shoot, and then we're gonna head off to the stage. So yeah, exciting day ahead, and yeah, I'm looking forward to experiencing it all for the first time. Arrived at the venue, got stopped by police because we went on a red light accidentally, but yeah, we made it here. So that's the place where I'm gonna go and have the registration done right now, and I assume that will be the venue where I will be today performing as well. So yeah, let's make it happen. Okay, so we got in. I paid for 2 categories. So my plan was to perform in the beginners category and also then in the regular one by height. And because, it's my first time doing it, obviously in the country where I'm new, my coach is not from here either, so she couldn't really prepare me for what's gonna happen. I was like, on some weird discovery journey, and my Spanish is so. So, like, I was really confused, to be honest, when I entered the space because nothing was really properly organized. And later on, as the day went ahead, I realized that it wasn't just me who was confused. Everyone was, because organization was pretty poor. So I got my wristbands and I was trying to figure out what I have to do next because I had to get my number. So I saw there was some like a line, like a queue of different athletes. So I was like, all right, maybe I should just like follow them and join the queue and just kind of hang there. And then somebody came up to me and were like, oh, have you filled out the form? I was like, no, I haven't, so you need to go there. I was like, excellent. So they gave me 2 forms to fill out because 1 form per 1 category. I filled the forms, and then they were like, all right, now you have to go through the inspection. And inspection basically means that I had to put on my bikini. So they would check the bikini, they would check the shoes. They would also ask me to pose to make sure that I know what I'm doing. And they would measure my height and my weight. And I was comfortable with all of that. But I realized that I had to take off my hat. They would see the wig stitch thing. So I somehow folded it underneath so they wouldn't see it, because my makeup appointment was right after registration. So that was the time when they would make it look seamless. And I was just like standing there sweating the shit out of myself, hoping that nobody will find out that I'm wearing a wig and I'm not gonna be told to take it off. Because if I would, I don't know, I would have to like figure out how to like bleach and dye my hair in like less than an hour. Anyway, so luckily they only told me about my septum, about which I knew that I had to take it off. They didn't say a word about my wig, so that was one thing less to stress about. And then they were asking me which categories am I going to perform. So I was like, beginners and the classic ones by the height. And they were like, no, you cannot do that. I'm like, wait, what? So from what I understood from my broken Spanish is that if I would do beginners, I would not be able to compete in the higher categories, which is the classic one by height. Which is kind of bizarre because everywhere else in the world you can, but not there. So instead they put me into something called Bikini Games, for which I won that trophy. But at that point, I had no clue what it is. Like, what I understood that it had to do something with the Olympics, and it had to do with the natural bodybuilding. Like, everyone who competes in that, they're not allowed to take anything pharmaceutical, which is great because I don't. And yeah, I was like, okay, fuck it, I'll do it. But at that point, I didn't really understand what I'm doing. I was like, yeah, sure, fine, great, excellent. So then I've been waiting to get my number. And again, I started stressing quite a lot because there was my form on the table right in front of me, next to all the numbers. And I was a huge cross drawn on top of my form. And I was like, maybe they took me out of competition. Maybe I didn't understand exactly what they told me, because only later, you know, everything that they said made sense to me. But like at that point, I was getting really anxious. I was also late for my makeup appointment. So, you know, things started to build up, creating a lot of tension within me. And after seeing that cross on my form, I thought that something bad happened. And they were calling up everyone, but not me. So after some back and forth, that actually gave me my numbers, and I was ready to go for my makeup appointment. My initial plan was to have the makeup artist come to the venue and do the makeup there. But in the last moment, I felt that I actually want to have like a private space where we can also take photos. So I decided to rent this little room on Airbnb, and actually on the day I realized how good was that idea, because if I were to do all of that at the venue, I would just go insane because of all the people and all the stress and everything. So having that little sanctuary where I could feel, you know, calm and recentered was actually really, really good. Ooh, it's been crazy. So registration is done. I am participating in 2 categories like I intended, but the categories are different. Like, I have no idea what it is, to be honest. Like, my Spanish is good enough to like understand some basic things, but like I have no clue what I'm doing at this point. Like, I know that I'm participating in 2 categories, so I'm just gonna go out and like do my best. To be honest, like I got a little bit stressed, and they asked me to like do the like show them the poses,
but I just rushed through them so quickly. But obviously, you know, that's not the time when they will be judging me based on. So anyway, at this point, we're just gonna see what's gonna happen. I feel a little bit better. I'm eating my back weight with my baby spoon because that's all I'm allowed. I'm gonna have a protein bar just before my entry. I also don't know what time will be my entry because they said that there will be some posing seminar that I'm skipping. I can't do it. I mean, I'm good at my posing, and instead I had an appointment for this. So we're gonna get my wig done properly. We're gonna have my makeup done. We're gonna take some photos. I'm gonna relax, and I'm gonna go on that stage and win those prizes. And the other fun thing, my numbers are 49 and 50, and 4 plus 5 plus 9 comes up to 18, right? And 1 plus 8 comes up to 9. So in the end, I got my lucky number 9.
Makeup started well. I had a little bit of food, as you saw, and then photographer arrived. Even though we told him to arrive a little bit later, he still got on time, so he was just kind of hanging there waiting for us to finish. And when we were just about to finish, guess what? The rain started. But the room that I rented was like teeny tiny, and like it wasn't spectacular enough for the photographs. I was kind of hoping that we will do them in a garden because garden was actually looking good. But everything was like wet and dripping, and usually that would never stop me, but because I had my tan that would get washed off from the water, we couldn't do it outside. So basically half an hour before we had to head out back to the venue, the rain stopped, sun came out, we rushed out, and we took all the photos like crazy in the last like 25 minutes before leaving the space. Obviously, we could have done way more, but we worked with the constraints we had, and I think it didn't turn out too bad. Some of my tan got damaged because of water, but we fixed it when we got to the venue. So we arrived half an hour before the show time, and at that point, I was hoping that we will know the lineup, so then I can also plan my time and understand when exactly I'm gonna have my favorite protein bar, because I was really looking forward to having some chocolate before coming out on the stage. But nobody knew. Even though the schedule was meant to be released after registration at 1 p.m., it hasn't. And people were like texting me, those who came to see me, like, oh, what time is the show? And that was also building some level of stress and anxiety. So I just gave my phone to the photographer and be like, use it for videos of when I get out on the stage, because I don't want to be dealing with any of it. That's why videos stop now. The only videos you're gonna see would be the videos from the stage, not really from me sharing my experience. Anyway, the show started 1.5 hours later than anticipated. I was hoping that I will know the schedule, I will know what time I'm performing, but nobody knew. So I kind of went behind, this backstage thing, which was like a frame with some black material stretched over it, where everyone was hanging. And the guy who was calling out people on the stage, I was expecting he would know more information about the order. But no, he told me that all he has is information on his phone that he's been sent. And that information only has like a name of the category, who is coming out now and who is inside that category, and the one after. Not ideal, obviously. So he just told me to hang out there and wait until he calls me. Which means, you can't really go and eat, you can't go to bathroom, you can't go and hang out with friends, because you can be called at any point, and if you are called and you're not coming out on the stage, you're being disclassified. And clearly that's not the outcome I wanted for my first show, so I just stay there. Then there was another confusion about which category I'm in, because I was hoping that, by sharing my worries with people around me, they would be able to help me. But instead, they were making things even more confused, because they started to tell me that I am participating in a wellness. Because this whole bikini games category, which I had still no idea what I'm doing, it was so new to me, and everyone was telling me that they merged bikini and wellness into the same thing. And I was like, that's impossible, because wellness is being judged by different criteria, and it's being judged by the bottom part of the body, right? By the legs. And the legs are actually the least developed part that I prepared for this day, right? Like I wasn't happy with the development of my legs. Putting me in a wellness was just my biggest nightmare. I had like a little panic attack when they told me that I have to go out on a stage in a wellness category, and it's like athletes are telling me that I'm in a wellness, but the guy who is calling out people, he doesn't have me on a list. And that made me even more confused. So, anyway, it all got sorted. I wasn't placed in wellness. It was just like a mass confusion and mass craziness that people were projecting onto me. I was still in my bikini. And yeah, then they called me on a stage, and I don't even know how many competitors were there. Like, I didn't even pay attention to how they looked, to how they were posing, what they were wearing. I couldn't see anyone. I could just see the stage, the stairs, the judges, and mentally projecting the image of myself, of how I was performing, and just like thinking about not making mistakes that I usually do when I pose at home. I didn't have time to do my eye walk. I only had like a few seconds where I just did the front pose, and then they sent me to the side. It was really bad because they were saying, like go to left, go to right, and nobody really knew what was happening. So that wasn't just me who didn't know Spanish. That was like everyone, even like, native speakers who were, born and raised speaking Spanish. They were also like super confused and didn't know where they were supposed to go. So like I was kind of worried that I'm gonna look like an idiot because I don't speak the language, but no, everyone looked like an idiot because the organization was really bad. So after the end of the games category, they were calling out the winners. They called up my number. I knew at that point that I'm in top 6. And I think in total there were like about maybe 20, 30 girls in that category, because there was a lot of people who they were calling out for the comparison before the top 6. And then I was like, all right, just repeating the name of my number in Spanish. So when they call my number, I know that it's me. They called 6, 5th, 4th, 3rd. When they called 2nd, I already knew that I am the 1st. And yeah, it was amazing. Like I don't know, like it just felt, it was really quick, but it was really good. It felt right. It felt perfect. It felt the right place to be. I really needed that. I needed to receive that trophy. I needed to receive that medal. I knew I'm gonna receive it, to be honest. I was manifesting it. I was working really hard, but like you still, have that like little, percent of disbelief until it actually happens, and it happened. So I was over the moon, and at that point I was like, okay, I got 1 trophy, I got 1 medal, I'm happy. If I'm gonna get another one, excellent. If I won't be too disappointed. My mood was already great. I had a second protein bar, so at that point I was loading myself with sugar. I didn't feel like I cared anymore. Of course I did, but I felt I can treat myself a little bit. And then for my second category, I had to wait until the very, very, very end. And the very end was actually around 10 p.m. Again, nobody had a schedule. Nobody knew when who will come out. So I was already feeling more relaxed. So, I would come outside, I would drink water, I would eat. So I kind of let myself a little bit loose. And then it was the time for my second category to come out by height. So there were not enough people in my height group, so they combined us all together. And guess what? I won the second one. So happy days, 2 first places for my first show. I couldn't be more excited. And yeah, like at that point, I just wanted to eat and celebrate. Unfortunately, it was already 11 p.m., so I couldn't have my cheat meals. But I still had to, eat something wrong for the day. So we went to the petrol station to get some gas. I don't have record of this. I just have this picture. But the taste of my victory turned out to be an Oreo ice cream, because out of all crappy things I could find on a petrol station, that was the one I was looking at me. The Oreo ice cream was awesome. It was so fucking good. Like, I don't remember when was the last time I ate it, because obviously it has things that I'm not supposed to eat as a vegan. So I think like I don't remember, maybe like, like I haven't had it for like 6 years. And that was the day I was like, fuck it, I'm eating it. I want it. Like my body wants it. So I'm gonna do it. So yeah, Oreo is the taste of my victory. So after that, I spent Sunday eating like an elephant. My coach told me just to have one cheat meal, but I ended up having the whole cheat day. I made these super awesome pancakes, which were like loaded with carbs. I ate over 120 grams of carbs just for my breakfast, but they were like really, really good. They had everything I love. And then I had my matcha with the oat milk that I'm not allowed anymore. For the dinner, I had 2 vegan pizzas, like huge ass, like real pizzas. And then I had another Oreo ice cream. So I kind of went really crazy on the day. And actually, when I woke up the after, my weight didn't change much. I only got like 1 extra kilo, but I was bloated by 3 centimeters. I got 3 extra centimeters in my waist, which is kind of crazy. But none of that obviously was fat. It was just like water. That was only one day. So from Monday, I went back into my normal routine. But now I'm being 1 week post show. And in terms of my nutrition, I'm eating fruits and berries again. I'm eating nuts again. And honestly, I feel so much better. Like that's all really that I've been missing. And my carbs went up to 180 grams per day as well. So I'm feeling pretty happy in this phase. It's difficult time because I need to maintain my shape and also improve it. I don't know how much I can improve my legs in 6 weeks. I'm doing my best. I'm training really, really hard. I'm eating well. I'm taking all my supplements. And I understand that obviously I can't get the definition that I want, but we'll see what's possible. There are some techniques that I will put in place to try to see more definition in my muscles, like holding the static up to 15 minutes in the morning. I'm still at my 6, but I'm building up. I'm adding extra 30 seconds every day. So in a week time, I will be holding static front pose for 15 minutes. It's kind of crazy, I know, but it's getting there. I also feel way stronger at the gym. I'm thinking it's more to do with like mental thing, but I do feel more ability to add extra weight, which is great. In terms of my posing, I'm learning new turn to the front pose from the left side to front, because the one that I had was good, but there are ways how I can improve it. And also like I need to restructure my eye walk, because the one that I prepared is too long and I don't know if I'm gonna have an opportunity to do it at the national. So I need to have like a really short version of it and then the bigger, longer one. So I'm prepared for either or. In terms of my stage image, I'm gonna wear the same bikini because I'm not funded yet to buy another one for this price. And actually now I'm just thinking about it. I'm gonna make another episode just about the cost, how much it cost me to get till the end of the season. So I'm gonna do that one actually after my next 2 shows. Anyway, I'm gonna have the same jewelry, I'm gonna have the same bikini, but my hair will be different. I don't wanna risk with the whole wig situation. This competition was local. Maybe they didn't know about the wig rules, but I wanna do it properly. I'm gonna do these like hair extensions. I don't know how they're called actually, but they look like hair that you just kind of attach with the hook to the braids that they're making over the head like a frame. So I'm gonna have like a curly long blue hair, which is kind of what I used to have before I cut all my hair off. That's my plan for my next show, and my next show is in 34 days from now, and then there is another one in 40 days from now. So I'm really excited about it. And I also now found out that I knew that there was another competition happening this weekend in Mexico City, and initially my thought process was that I do the local one, the state level first, take my time to rejuvenate, and then go for the nationals and then international, and I have time to improve my shape. But now, after winning this one, I feel that I could have went and did the one that just happened. I could have, won the national one as well, but it's a FOMO. It's a really big FOMO, and I also been looking at the results of other competitions that were happening worldwide this weekend, and I've been feeling so much FOMO as well. And there was no way I could like participate in them. What I realized is that I developed addiction from being on the stage for the first time. I want more. I really loved it. I really enjoyed being there. I enjoyed being under the spotlight. I enjoyed, receiving my trophies. I enjoyed all of it. Like, it was so great, and I can't wait to do it again. And at this point, I just don't want to miss any show. I just want to put myself out there whenever there is a chance. So I'm gonna take this time that I have until what I already decided will be my next show, improve my posing, improve my shape as I decided, work with myself mentally so I don't repeat mistakes that I did during the peak week that you're gonna find out in the coming episode. And yeah, and just come out there even better version of myself, and yeah, go get all the gold that I deserve. Gonna wrap up this episode here today, and make sure to hit that like and subscribe button below. I'm gonna be dropping some links to the products that I used in the description below, and I see you in my next episode about the fat burners and how I almost quit 10 days before getting these amazing trophies and diving on this super cool journey. I wish you all a good week. Stay fit.